What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Got some nice duels for you guys to check out. Third duel is going to be the best because it's going to have the grind action, and I think it's just going to be the most interesting. But first duel is actually going to take us to, yeah, this is actually not Cyber Dragons, if you can believe that. This is, ironically, ABC playing, I don't know why he's playing Phoenix Chain. Feel like this card is only actually good in probably Tellarknights because of Tellarknight Trevere, but I digress. He's playing against a cheese deck. You guys know these builds. Basically, they revolve around a 3-card combo with Iron Imperial Wall, Quillbolt Hedgehog, and then Plague Spreader Zombie. You get Plague Spreader on the field by, I guess, summoning it from the graveyard of its own effect, and then you flip this over and you can summon your Quillbolt Hedgehogs infinitely because they never actually get banished. It's super inconsistent, but it is kind of fun when you get to pull it off. So his opponent just sets a couple of cards and then passes turn. He is going to get Plague Spreader Zombie in the graveyard because I guess he called 2 correctly. Gets himself a Solemn Strike, which is, I mean, he has a lot of good defensive cards. Not sure how he plays this so badly, though. Flips over Toon Cannon Soldier, and I don't know why he doesn't immediately use Solemn Strike on the Toon Cannon Soldier. I think that he didn't understand how the combo was working. He thought, all right, well, there's no more monsters on the field. What threat is Toon Cannon Soldier? However, as soon as he summons Plague Spreader back, which he used the Solemn on that, I mean, that's weird. Plague Spreader is not a hard once per turn, so he can just activate it again. He can get his Quillbolts out, from his graveyard for free, and he can basically just infinitely summon them. Now, I think he kind of realized what was happening here. That's why he uses the impermanence on the Toon Cannon Soldier. Had he just Solemn that, he'd have been in good shape. The thing is, you can just keep getting the Quillbolt. So he's going to get the other Quillbolt out of his hand in the graveyard, and once he gets rid of the Phoenix Chain, or at least he baits it out, he's like, oh, okay, I can just kind of infinitely summon monsters. Now, the thing is, he does kind of have to find a way to do some damage, so he just starts going into like these random ass like Link monsters, which is actually kind of cool. Goes in for Boral Guard Dragon, then he's gonna go for Boral Low Dragon, and that burn damage that he did earlier in the turn plus the Solemn actually does make a difference. Only has to do 6,000 damage, and the Boral twins are good enough to do that damage. So that's pretty much a wrap on that one. Next duel is going to be Guru Control versus Orcust, and I would probably say that the Guru Control player might be favored if he was going first. You never generally want to open where you have multiple cards with the same name, specifically because everything in, the Vrains era, well, really since like Arc V, like everything's a hard once per turn now, so having 2 copies of Extravagance and 2 Ashes just doesn't really work all that well. I mean, you'd rather have like this be another defensive card, like a Solemn Warning or a Judgment or something, instead of an Ash, where you'd have more life cards. So it is going to be a little interesting how he has to kind of navigate this because of that. Dark Grepher is going to get hit with the Ash Blossom. I think that's pretty okay. Maybe he'll use Allure, maybe he won't. Goes into Galatea, and this is a pure build of Orcust, guys. This is not the danger build that, basically goes for like Azathoth. This is more of the build that goes for the topologic Bomber Dragon play, which is still pretty good in my opinion. Even if you end on a naked Bomber Dragon, you do have your Orchestrated Babel, which lets you summon your Orcust monsters from the graveyard during your opponent's turn. So it's nothing for you to just bring back Longirasu to this guy's link point. Longirasu will be protected, and then you nuke your opponent's board. So not bad. He does have, Extravagance, and he draws another copy of Pot of Duality off Extravagance, which is just unfortunate because now he has 2 of that. So he's kind of just getting too many of the same cards and all hard once per turns. He's going to go ahead and set his copy of Guru, but that's going to get nuked. This is why the Bomber Dragon is actually a legitimate play, because I mean, it's just hard to play Yu-Gi-Oh without using your main monster zone, and when your main monster zone gets nuked, your opponent still has these 2 big ass monsters that is 5,500 damage, so you kind of have to be like, oh man, I'm on the clock. If my opponent summons another monster, I might die here. And he's actually going to summon that Watt Kinetic Puppeteer. They're always trying to get me to play this card on my live stream. It moves monsters from the extra monster zone to different monster zones, like the main monster zone. So people like Cap G, you can use this against Sky Strikers, put monsters in their main monster zone, they can't do anything, move Saryuja, and then they can't summon. Theoretically, it can work. Same thing with like Salamangreats, move your opponent's Sunlight Wolf to a different monster zone, they can never summon to it, and they can't activate the effects, but it's an interesting card. Maybe I'll try it out. Anyways, it is kind of nice because it's like Ghost Ogre. you can technically use it from the field. It is doing a little bit of work here. If your opponent is playing a deck like Guru or True Draco, then you just summon it and try to beat the hell out of them with it. And he's going to go for the second extravagance, not getting, again, what he needs. It's difficult when you're playing Orcus Control to beat already established boards. That's one problem that the deck does have, kind of mounting these boards. Goes for another Guru, and this time it looks like he is going to be able to get some stuff off. Watt Kinetic is trying to go ahead and change him, but he's going to go ahead and just say, Fiendus that, I'm going to stop that play right there. And I think that if his opponent uses Bomber Dragon just one more time, he's probably going to have this duel over. Like, I think that it's probably just going to be a wrap at this point. Guru Control is losing its only monster once again, and he knows that that is pretty much a wrap. So even kind of the old school Topologic Bomber Dragon, which most people don't really consider this kind of like a new way of playing, like it's still, or people don't really consider this, a valid way of playing. It's still pretty good. Like, you can still just use Bomber Dragon and control the duel. Final duel is actually going to be PK. Phantom Knights versus Orcus. There will be no danger monsters in this. This is how I like my duels, man. With these dark attribute decks, no freaking dangers, just play them pure, play them the way that Konami wanted you to play them, as pure as possible. And it's going to be an interesting duel because I feel like Orcus have an advantage here, but don't count the PK deck out. Its recovery is incredibly good, and it's very resilient. So Twin Twister getting rid of the back row. He's going to go ahead and Rhoda, Ortho, Scorpio, not for Brilliant Fusion, actually going to go for Instant Fusion, not bad. Cherubini's going to dump the Edge Up Sabers in the graveyard. He's going to summon it, and he's going to go for Rusty Bardiche, and he's going to basically start stacking those copies of Fogblade. Not bad. This time he goes for, this is an interesting play. He goes for Omega, and oddly enough, he does not actually use it. Thought that he might just go ahead and use it. Problem is, the Longiris is just going to be able to get rid of it during the battle phase, so that was a miscalculation there. He probably should have activated the effect first instead of simply using the effect. So yeah, he definitely messed up on that, but it's fine. Maybe he'll be able to recover. Orcus don't look like they have that much going on, but Orcus have a whole lot of offense, and he's actually going to play this weird card, this Iron Dragon Tiamton, and this dude actually can pop cards in a column. It has to be summoned to a column where there's another card in it, if I'm not mistaken, but Fogblade is just going to shut it down. Goes for Nightmare Unicorn. That's going to get shut down by the other copy of Fogblade because he can't afford to lose his only monster on board, the Rusty Bardiche. If Bardiche dies, it's fine, but you can't have it get banned, or you can't have it get bounced or something like that. He attacks with Longiris, and that's actually going to just die in battle because of the Phantom Knight sword, which actually gives it protection. And this is where I thought that the Orcus player was going to have a huge advantage, because Arcustrion, if you guys don't know, you'll see it here. Arcustrion is kind of like a counter to Master Rule 4, because you can see he's trying to, activate the Phantom Knight's Break Sword, and then he has the Bard, which can, pop a card, but he's basically just going to be like, nope, I'm just going to activate Arcustrion. I'm going to go ahead and simply negate all of that. And, both of these monsters are now 0 attack. They have no effects, and it looks like the Orcus player is back in control of this duel. That's why I say that Arcustrion is so difficult to actually deal with. Now, he does go for, and this was interesting, right? He goes for the Wee Witch's Apprentice, which ironically buffs his opponent's monsters. It gives them 500 attack. So check out what he's going to do. He summons Longiris back, and he's like, screw your 500 attack. I'm going to activate Arcustrion again, just so you lose those 500 attack values, then go for Borreload Savage. He has to pretty much use Fall Blade on that, because if not, I think he's in danger of losing this turn. So he knows, I got to stop that cap, because I can't afford this guy having like a 4,000, 5,000 attack Borreload Savage Dragon or something like that. He's going to survive this turn just off the skin of his teeth, 400 life points, only because Break Sword is bringing the monsters back, and he's only ending with one monster. Now, it honestly looks kind of dire. I didn't really think he could bring this back, but never count out Phantom Knights. Even with his opponent having the Arcustrion, Phantom Knights can find a way to win these games, mainly because you can just bring back the Rusty Bardiche, like bringing it back from the graveyard, then being able to activate it, like that's enough advantage to get you back in the duel. He's going to go ahead and set the Phantom Knights Brigandine, which gives him another life card. He's going to go for Break Sword. That's going to essentially, I think it's going to bait out the Arcustrion and the Longirisu. It's interesting. I never knew about this until this duel. I had no idea you can chain these guys off of each other, which is actually quite amazing. So he's going to chain them off of each other back to back. and he baited them both out. Now he goes for Dark Rebellion XC, trying to activate Bardiche. He's going to actually pop his own copy of Breaksword so that he can summon back, and now he goes for his own Wee Witch's Apprentice. Everything on the field's getting buffed, and he's going to go for not just Dark Rebellion, but Dark Requiem. And check this out. He makes this guy 0 attack, gains his attack, and he actually ends up running this back, 7,000 damage right there. Then he simply attacks into it again. The fact that this guy could not be destroyed by battle was actually, it became his own downfall. Ironically enough, it actually hurt him in the end of this because it basically gave him a 0 attack monster, so essentially he was attacking directly. And keep in mind, he still did have the Wee Witch's Apprentice that could have attacked, again into the Orchestrion, so there was no way that he was actually going to survive this. But love duels like these where players don't give up, they fight back, and they end up getting back in the duel. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed these short duels. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.